Hi, I'm Karl Konrad and welcome to this week's edition of Australian Immigration News. This show is proudly brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services, right here in the heart of Sydney. Well, it's been an action-packed week as far as immigration politics have been concerned, and we'll get to that later. But tonight we focus on the new CSOL list floating around out there and the confusion and to some degree panic that it has caused. We will do our best to explain what this list is all about and how there is certainly no cause for alarm. But first, a big thank you to all of your 700 odd comments on last week's video. I've tried to get to all of them and we don't have all the answers just yet, but in time we will. So stay tuned. But quickly first, the 192 PR lottery system for Pacific Islanders finally opens next month on the 3rd of June. Now, we have covered the eligibility rules before, but those who missed it, I'll leave a link to that video at the end of this one. It was interesting to see the breakdown of the lucky 3,000 allocated to countries with Papua New Guinea getting the most. Still no word on how you find that Australian job offer, but we will cover this more later. Good luck to all of you who are ready to enter the lottery. Tonight, we discuss some draft skilled occupation lists, a topic that seems widely known but little understood. Jobs and Skills Australia, known as JSA, was created after the Migration Strategy Summit held in September 2022. They use fancy statistical data to determine what occupations are needed in Australia. They have published a draft skilled occupation list known as the Core Skilled Occupation List, or the CSOL. This title was not the greatest of choices because people confuse it with the old Consolidated Skilled Occupation List, also known as the CSOL. This new Core Skilled Occupation List, and I need everyone to be clear about this, is just for the temporary skilled migration system. It will, in particular, be used for the new and upcoming Skills in Demand visa, which is intended to replace the current 482 employer-sponsored visa. It may also be used for the current 407 occupational trainee visa. This list does not reflect the occupations eligible for the points-based visas such as the 189, 190 and 491 visas. Now, Jobs and Skill Australia has effectively created 3 draft lists, calling them the Confident On list, the Confident Off list, and We Are Not Confident list, otherwise officially labelled as Targeted for Consultation List. The CSOL occupations only come from ANSCO skill level 1 to 3. GSA has tweaked its statistical magical computers and they have provided 187 occupations that should be on the list and 218 occupations that should not be. Another 307 occupations were targeted for consultation, meaning they don't know what to do with them or are scared to make recommendations. This list has been developed so we can all put our 2 bobs worth sitting down to discuss and then make a written submission. But who exactly is being targeted to consult with? The JSA website says we want to hear from job applicants, visa applicants, skill assessment bodies, etc. However, on the 20th of March, the JSA released these draft lists, and on the 21st of March, they sent emails to the authorised skill assessment bodies. As far as the rest of us go, the normal public, not a word. What about Migration Alliance, Australia's largest representative of migration agents? They received nothing. However, surely the Home Affairs Minister or the Immigration Minister would have told everyone on their website or in a press release. Not a squeak. Recently, the ABC ran a news article about it, and some clients mentioned it, but it has only just really surfaced. Even in the comments section of the channel, reports have come in. So of course, I started to look to try and find where it is. It took a while, and it was if they didn't want it to be found. If you go to the JSA website, you will see exactly what I mean. But to make it easier for you all, I have left a link in the description. Now we have found them, we discover there are a number of glaring concerns. Why are so many occupations that all of Australia knows are in shortage on the We Are Not Sure list? Nearly every single trade occupation required to build houses and apartments in Australia are on the Undecided list. Let's take a look at that We Are Not Sure list. Renderers. roof tiler, wall and floor tiler, air conditioning and mechanical services plumber, roof plumber, plumber, fire protection plumber, electrician, air conditioning mechanic, bricklayer, stonemason, carpenter, joiner, floor finishers, painters, glazier and plasterer. Without all these occupations, we might as well set up tent cities. I mean, there has been so many calls from construction industry representatives that if we want to build houses, we will need tradespeople by the busload.
With 14 towers and more than 2,000 apartments, developer Bill Berger knows Australia's housing crisis better than most, and its message is blunt.
This industry needs that skilled labour, and we can't get it fast enough with homegrown.
I'm sure Engineers Australia and the Australian Computer Society are writing scathing submissions too for all those professional occupations earmarked to discuss. And remember, we are talking about a list for the temporary sponsored visa only here. It is meant to be an employer-driven model, not a union-driven model. If an occupation is in shortage and on the skills priority list, then it should be as simple as that. With cooks, chefs and restaurant managers on the discussion list, it quickly drew the ire of some of Australia's largest restaurateurs. Have a listen to this ABC report for a minute and you'll see what I mean.
Your enthusiasm sounds quite infectious, but you do also have challenges. As you're opening your new restaurant, you're trying to source staff.
Staffing's been terrible since COVID. I mean, it was really hard before COVID, and afterwards it's been terrible. I mean, you know, when you're down in those sort of percentages that we have in the unemployment and under 4, you know that like everyone who wants a job's got a job. So for me, I'm not like getting the money for the business or having the concept or having the customers come. That doesn't keep me up at night. It's finding the 190 staff for Songbird and hearing the government talk about the skills visa changing and taking people like assistant restaurant managers off and certain levels of chefs.
The main thing to highlight about this proposed CSOL is that we do not believe that these occupations up for consultation are really in danger of being excluded from the final list. We have seen discussion lists like this before, many times over many years, and in the end nearly all the occupations end up staying on the list. This list is certainly no reflection of those occupations available for permanent residency visas. And now some of the migration political drama that occurred this week. There were calls from all over the place for the Home Affairs Minister and the Immigration Minister to resign over the 140-odd ex-detainees being released into the Australian community. The Department of Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill certainly copped an earful on Wednesday morning on her usual spot on Channel 7's Sunrise program.
Quite frankly, you should be embarrassed that you have put the public at such risk, that you have blamed anybody else other than yourself. You should either resign or at least apologise.
Interestingly, the transcript of this program did not make its way onto her ministerial media website, as it always has for every other week in the past. Hardly surprising though. And then after this interview, she seemed to disappear.
Well, the Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill and the Immigration Minister Andrew Giles appear to have been put into witness protection. A second day in a row, they're not fronting the cameras. Why aren't they when we clearly have a crisis?
However, the Immigration Minister did show a degree of bravery when he spoke to the ABC Radio National program. And of course, he must have been expecting this.
Andrew Giles, should you resign as the opposition is calling for?
Well, what is absolutely telling is that the opposition are only interested in talking about problems, never about solutions in any aspect of this portfolio. I'm determined to get on with my job and to work hard at it each and every day.
But of course, the blunders over the ex-detainees are not the only issue of concern. We have the 476 visa debacle, with thousands being capped and ceased. Tens of thousands of student visas are being refused for no real reason, except to reduce the numbers. The university is up in arms over the damage caused to the education sector, and now the proposed drastic cut to the access to the graduate 485 visa simply because they turned 36. I mean, sometimes the Liberals were a little unfair over the last decade of their management, or should I say mismanagement, but they were never as cruel as this government. There were nearly always transitional arrangements before new changes to ensure temporary residents were not disadvantaged. changed. Remember, temporary residents are just like the rest of us, wanting to be treated fairly and given certainty. We have never had a Home Affairs Minister who has treated migrants so unjustly and in such an inhumane manner. Thank you all for so many comments, and we have decided to make a special video of your questions so we can answer them. The ones about the new points test and the proposed 485 visa changes, so stay tuned. Remember, if you need help out there, you are not alone, and we are always here to assist. You can book a consultation online through our website, but if you need a faster appointment, call the office directly. And if you want to keep up with all the big changes coming, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. To help us out and support what we're doing here, please share this video around. As always, take care out there, and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.